The setup is really going to be what's going to give Liverpool either the opportunity to advance and get the 3 points in this match, or it's going to be a hindrance. Now, I've got a fantastic setup that I would like to share with you. But before we get to that, let's ask the question, what's at stake tomorrow night? Well, a Liverpool side that's trying to build real momentum, and a Sunderland team that's arriving with belief and with nothing to lose. So, how does this match really get decided? Well, by Liverpool's control of the tempo, and they've got to stay switched on, especially against a team that thrives on chaos and quick transitions. And why it matters, it's because this kind of game tells you whether a team is growing or if they're just getting by. Sunderland come into this game with a lot of energy, and they've been fighting. They've been turning games around. They've playing like they've got absolutely nothing to fear. And they've got nothing to fear at Anfield. And that makes them dangerous. Not because they're better man for man, but because they're in a shape mentally where they believe that they can punch above their weight. And teams like that, they tend to run hard, they press aggressively, and they force you into these uncomfortable positions. And here's where my concern really is. Liverpool are still in that rebuild space under Slot, right? Where they're asking themselves, can we maintain control where the opposition disrupts the rhythm? And we've seen flashes of structure and flashes of maturity, but we've also seen games where we get dragged into chaos, where the distances break down and where transitions tend to expose them. And Sunderland will look for exactly that. Second balls, wide overloads, and moments where they can run at the back line before they really set the shape. And we've seen too much of that. But here's where my perspective kicks in. Check this. Liverpool are slowly becoming a more composed side, and Slot's fingerprints are clearer. Every week we see a little bit more, and the midfield triangle looks a little bit more balanced. The front line has more connectivity, and especially with Isaac giving us that focal point and who can hold play, link runners, and he can force defenders, to stay honest. And if Liverpool stick with that structure, if McAllister and Szoboszlai or Gravenberch control the centre, and if we resist the urge to force the game early, Sunderland's threat becomes very manageable. The intensity drops the longer they chase, and that's when Liverpool can take over. So what's going to be key for tomorrow night? Win the middle, stay compact, and don't get caught playing Sunderland's emotional game. If Liverpool play the match, on their terms, they keep the possession, shift their block, and pick the right moments to accelerate, then it becomes professional, it becomes controlled, and it becomes a controlled performance. But if we allow them to drag us into a scrap, we give them belief, and belief is the one thing you don't want to hand a team like Sunderland. Here's my take. If Liverpool stay disciplined, they win this with control, not with chaos, not hero moments, control. And that's exactly the next evolution that this team should show. So as promised, here is how I would set up to face Sunderland, and this would be my Liverpool team. Of course, in goal, we're going to want to go with Alisson over there, and then we're going to be playing Kerkez again. We're going to be playing the captain Virgil van Dijk alongside Ibrahima Konate, and then I'd like to see Calvin Ramsey if he is available. I loved Joe Gomez in the position, but my only concern would be having all of your centre-backs on the field at the same time. Doesn't make me too comfortable. He could come on as a sub, or he could be swapped out for Ibrahima Konate. Playing just beyond them, I'd like to see McAllister and Gravenberch again. I think they done fantastically well over there, and that beautifully sets up the double pivot. Now, what we saw in the West Ham game is at times, if the one goes, the other stays, and they would work vice versa. If the other one goes, then the other one stays, and that is exactly exactly what we need to cover up those spaces just beyond the back line and to give additional support to the backline players. Now, beyond them, in a 3 formation over there, on the left, I go with Cody Gakpo again, and through the centre, and I think he had one of his best games for Liverpool in this position, Florian Wirtz playing over there. And then on the right-hand side, of course, I'd go with Dominic Szoboszlai again. I think it gave us some fantastic movement and balls into the centre, which really unlocked Florian Wirtz and the Wirtz that we want to see. And we need more of that during gameplay and in the build-up. And then in the front, I'd like to see Ekitike being brought in. And I think there's going to be merit and power in bringing Isak on from the bench, but starting Ekitike, giving him those vital moments, and I think just wearing out and tearing down defensive lines. He's going to be brilliant in that, and that is how I would like to set up. Now, I know it's not a popular setup, the 4-2-3-1 formation, but I think with the amount of players or the type of players and the caliber that we have at the moment, this would be our strongest formation to take this game forward. But I'd like to hear from you. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think that you have a different setup, perhaps a better one that Liverpool could use? Let me know in the comments what your thoughts on that are. Smash a like button on this video. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet joined the community, and share with fellow Reds. We look forward to tomorrow's one. You'll never walk alone.